Okay, hello children of 8th class, welcome to online classes. So in the last class we have learned about the force and types of forces and etc and etc. Today the concept is something different which already you know very well and you are familiar to these concepts. So what is a contact force? Yes, you know very well. How many types of contact forces are there? Yes, you are right. So what is that first contact force? Muscular force, and second one is what? A friction force. Friction force. You underline it. You just note it in your brain. So what is the friction force? We have learned what is friction force in the first chapter, that is opposing force. Am I right? Opposing force. We have seen many instances and many examples where the friction force develops, and also have given some examples, right? Today in this class we are going to deal with in detail about the friction force, such as sliding friction and static friction. Types of friction force. So one is sliding friction and static friction. Best example, if a car is moving, or in other words, I will give you a small example. Take a duster, and there is a pen which is kept on the duster. Now here you can see here two objects, one is duster and second one is a pen. What about the position of these two objects? I mean to say whether they are in motion or rest. Yes, they are in rest position. What about this object? Again it is in a rest position. Now these two are said to be in a static friction. Static means they are stable and they are constant. According to this diagrams, see a van or a car, a bike which is parked in a parking place, and when it is not moving, now this van or the bike is in contact with what? A floor. A floor is offering a friction force, isn't it? The floor offers opposing force or resistant force. That's why the car or the bike, it is not moving. So to overcome this force, friction force, what a vehicle has to? Okay, simply the rider comes and start the bike and giving another additional force so that it overcomes this frictional force. That's why the bodies will move. For example, our first example, what is happening with these two bodies? They are static. They are in static friction. For example, what do you want to make this body to move? Yes, you have to apply some force. So when you apply the force, the body starts moving. Now that is a sliding friction. Sliding means a moving. That means to overcome. See, when an object to be slide, one has to apply the force, or one has to overcome the friction force. And also we have learned in the last classes about whether the friction is important or the friction is having drawbacks or advantages or disadvantages. Yes, both the friction is having. It is necessary. Is it necessary? Yes, it is necessary, but in some cases the friction is no need. If friction is needed in fetching of water from the well, if there is lot of friction while fetching the water from the well, so what happens? The rope will not come very smoothly. If friction is there much in a carom board, while playing a carom board, the coins will not move. That is the best thing. If a sewing machine, your mother may be stitching something, if the machine is having more friction, what happens? The machine will not move or rotate. In that cases, what your mother will do? You know very well. So she will do some oil, or she will put some oil or some grease, even in your bike or even your cycle chain. If that has become very hard, especially in rainy season, due to the rain, you will get rust in the chain or vehicles. So what your father will do? Simply he will pour some grease or some oil to avoid the friction. So from these examples, you know the friction is not needed. No need of friction in some instances, but in some instances, most of the instances, the friction is required, especially while walking or while standing on the floor, while sleeping, writing, running, eating. All these examples, you should have friction. Without friction, we can't do anything. Yes, that's why friction is necessary in our daily life, but in some cases friction is no need. Of course, naturally the friction has come on this earth. Then how can we avoid this friction? In some example, carom board. How to avoid the friction? Your answers. By pouring what? A powder. Good answer. The powder makes the coins to move very smoothly. That means you are reducing or decreasing the friction. Am I right? Yes. To run the machines very smoothly, what you will add? Some grease, some oil. So these type of materials which makes or which reduces the friction are called as lubricants. What they are called as lubricants. Most probably in industries, machinery or factories, lubricants are to be used to make the machines run very smoothly. You know, if you have gone to, I think in one summer season, you might have gone to sugarcane juice. To obtain the sugarcane juice, what the person or the shopkeeper will do? He use a mission, a two-thread mission. So to run the mission smoothly, what he will apply? You can see a black color substance to be applied on the wheels, inside the wheels. So that grease materials makes the wheels to rotate very smoothly. That grease is called as here the lubricant. So according to today's concept, what is a friction force? It is an opposing force. There are two types of friction, that is static friction and dynamic. In other words, sliding friction. And of course, what are the factors to be? What are the factors are influenced in friction force to obtain friction force? That we will learn in next class. But today's class we have learned one more important 4 marks question, that is friction necessary? What are the evil effects of the friction force? So all these concepts I have explained you with examples, isn't it? Of course, types of friction, some more classifications are there that we will learn in our next class. As of now, today's class classification, that is types of friction, and what is the definition of friction, whether it is needed or no need of friction, that's what we have learned in this video. And in my coming video I will explain you in detail about some more important topics of friction. And meanwhile, what you have to do, refer the textbook and get that e-textbook PDF file from your group, okay, and put it on the paper. What the information what you have learned in this class, you just write it in a paper and please post it in the group along with your name. Thank you. See you again.